Hey folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. My apologies for the lack of a show yesterday. It was a little bit under the weather. We will have one for you today. We will not have a Morning Rush next week as I'm going on vacation. The afternoon drive will be in good hands with Smitty and a series of co-hosts. Aaron Becker will be there. Brendan Howe will be there. And our buddy Joe Morrison will be making his first appearance on the channel as well. So a bunch of my gang from SteelersNow.com and DB, of course, will be on the afternoon drive tonight. And on next Friday, I will not be in the afternoon tonight because Chris Carter's getting married. So congratulations to Chris and Tiana. And we'll be there tonight. So no me on the afternoon drive. Today is a long promised episode that I've been working on, and Randy Tobias called me out the other day, and I was like, okay, I didn't give him an episode yesterday. I really owe him a good one today. Here we go. We're going to talk about cover 4 quarters and why I think the Steelers are going to use more of it this year. Cover 4 is a defense, is a zone defense that gets that allows more players up to the line of scrimmage than cover 2 does. It's better against a run than cover 2 is, but also still provides some of the benefits against the pass of cover 2. And so we're going to start by talking about the Steelers' base defense, which is cover 3 nickel. And we're going to get it up on the whiteboard here. We haven't had the whiteboard out in a long time, so this is our lo-fi sort of technique. Here we go. So this is the Steelers. Let me get the spotlight glare out of there for you. This is the Steelers' base defense. Okay, you have. Wow, I'm really struggling with this today. You have 4 down linemen. You have 2 linebackers. You have a nickel, a strong safety, 2 corners, and a free safety. So this is what they play most of the time, and you can see. Let's see if we can get this going. There we go. That looks better. In cover 3, against a normal looking alignment, there's a slot. There's your line. There's a tight end, quarterback, running back. Okay. So in cover 3, your corner has, let's call it a deep third. Your corner has a deep third, and the safety has a deep third. Okay. The corner has to be deep as the deepest, wide as the widest. So he takes the deep out here. The nickel and the strong safety play the number 2s and the flats. So if one of these guys goes short and one goes long, it doesn't matter which. The nickel and the strong safety take the short, and the corners take the long. If they both go long, the corners take the deepest guy, and the nickel and the strong safety take the underneath guy, with both linebackers in zones here for the tight end and the running back in the middle of the field. So if they run like a wheel concept, this slot comes and runs a post, and the back runs a wheel. The nickel needs to pass the slot to the linebacker and then get to the flat. That's cover 3. It's the Steelers' base defense. It's not very good against the pass. It works, but it's very easy to beat. It's very easy to stress, especially in areas like I just described. You do things like throw a tight end out on the boundary, run a bunch of crossing routes in here, and now all of a sudden you've got corners against tight ends and you've got wide receivers against linebackers. How many times do you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers over the years and be like, why is a wide receiver on a linebacker? Well, it's just what I just showed you, right? In cover 3, again, here's a post, there's a linebacker, here's a wheel, there's a go. This is not a complicated route combination, but cover 3 makes the corner go this way, the nickel to the flat, and now the linebacker's left with this slot receiver. So there goes Jarvis Landry up the post against the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs, right? Cover 4 is different, even though you use the exact same personnel. You have the exact same personnel in the group and the field. And importantly, you can have them just as close to the line of scrimmage. See, the reason that cover 2, the Steelers don't like cover 2, is to play cover 2, you have to have your safeties way off the ball. So cover 2 eliminates the ability of playing that eighth man in the box. Okay? It's really hard for a strong safety. In cover two, strong safety, free safety both have deep halves with the wide receiver. The corner is going to pass this wide receiver to the safety if he goes deep. So you can't have Deshaun Elliott down here and then ask him to be running with CD Lamb up there. That's not going to work, right? So you have to be up to play cover two. But cover four is different. Quarters. Cover four and quarters are the same thing. They're just different words for the same defense. In quarters, the corners get the outside guy deep, just like in cover three. No matter what that outside receiver does, unless it's a crossing route and a switch, it's going to be the corner. Okay. And then the free safety and the strong safety work 2 to 1 here, 2 to 1 here. So, and then you have your nickel and your 3 linebackers in zone. So the nickel gets the flat here, the linebacker gets the flat on this side, and this middle linebacker hangs out in the middle of the field. So if this slot receiver is going to leave the flat, then he becomes the safety's responsibility. If this tight end is going to leave the flat, then he becomes the safety's responsibility. If the slot or the tight end doesn't leave the flat, now you have deep help for your corner. So on our route that was confusing the Steelers before, corner goes deep, slot receiver rides a post, the safety's going to come down on that post, and the nickel can still get here because the safety's not in the middle of the field anymore. Now the safety's over here. Same thing here with Elliott. He can run up the post with a tight end, or he can help double the outside receiver, or he can pass, to the middle of the field. Let's say the tight end runs an in. He can pass tight in the middle of the field and go with the back coming out of the backfield. So you have the same personnel basically as you have in cover three work for quarters. The only difference is there's a linebacker in the middle of the field, so you kind of give away what you're doing. But I do think it prevents a lot of the they're not communication problems necessarily. It prevents a lot of the mismatches that you can exploit against cover three. Now there is one thing that quarters really struggles with, and that's when you put 3 or even 4 guys on the same side of the field, and there are a lot of complicated checks that you have to make to decide how you're going to cover this. Are you going to travel a corner, or are you going to run something like mini or something over here? There are like a bunch of different ways to deal with that. But against balanced formations, quarters is a really good defense. This is something that Vic Fangio ran all the time, still runs all the time. And Darius Slay is very familiar with that defense. And I think it's not a coincidence that they got him, and I think they want to do some more of that. I think it's a defense that is better suited to the modern NFL than the cover three they've always run, and I think it's just as good against the run as their cover three is. Pat Narduzzi at Pitt absolutely loves quarters. He runs 90% quarters on first and second down, maybe more. And he does it because it stops the run. Now, he's also like insane and won't use a nickel. He just runs base defense against any personnel pretty much. So his is a little harder to pull off. But I think using NFL personnel groupings, quarters can be a really effective defense. We've seen the Buffalo Bills use it a ton. And I think it fits the skill set of their corners. I think it fits the skill set of Porter. I think it fits the skill set of Slay. I think Ramsey in that nickel role in a quarters defense, really, really good. So I think that's something that can be a fix to some of the communication problems from last year, and also just some of the mismatch problems we've seen the Steelers defense run into over the years. And I do expect them to use more of it this season. All right, that's all I got for today. And not only today, that's all I got for an entire week. You're not going to see me here. I may jump in on an episode just to troll from the beach, because that's who I am and that's how I roll. But otherwise, you're in the good hands of Smitty and the gang from here on out. See you guys on the other side of vacation for a big week leading up to training camp. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, enjoy.